We are back on Morning Line. Noreen Gibbons is with us along with Merrill Geiger. They're both, well, resident in audiology, doctor in audiology with Middle Tennessee Audiology. Real quick, the burning question everyone wants to know, why do we have earlobes? Does that have any play? Is it only for earrings? Why do we have, and some people have more earlobes than others, why do we have earlobes?
I'm going to defer that question.
Is there an answer to that question? There's always a purpose behind nature. It's something. Yes. It's not just there so you know you can kind of just put an earring in it. What do you think?
Well, it kind of funnels the sound. I mean, your whole ear funnels sound down into your ear.
But it's hanging way down.
I know
here.
it is.
Seriously, is it something we're evolving
out of
the
lobe exactly, but the whole ear funnels sound in, which was actually my research project for school. Was actually the cupped hand. See how much benefit you.
So if I were to have somehow these earlobes removed, I might notice a subtle loss in my hearing ability.
I don't know if you would notice it because it would be so minuscule, but it would look kind of funny.
Yeah, I guess, but but there is a purpose for them. And it's to improve or enhance your hearing.
The entire ear is shaped the way it is for very good reasons. It picks up the most, and mine are actually shaped very differently.
No, you've got earlobes too.
Well, I'm talking about the top.
Oh yeah.
So I have a pointy one and. Yeah. First thing I noticed about my daughter when she was born.
All right, let's get to the calls. We've got Tony next. Tony, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Hey, Tony.
I've been holding on to get some serious help.
Sure.
A friend of mine, church friend.
Okay.
He's recently retired. He's 67 years old, but he's always had hearing problems. Her parents couldn't afford to take him after she was young. Now it's catching up with him. I'm afraid she's going to get run over in the road. She seems to deny she got a hearing problem. She seems to say it's too late, she can't get enough done. The doctors told her that they can't help her. Her doctors, you know. What I'm saying is, with people like that, ain't much you can do to try to persuade them to get more help. If somebody already told her they can't do that for her.
I wonder, but she still has some hearing, right, Tony? She can hear a little bit, right?
Right, but I told her to read some lips. She said, try to look at somebody's face and lips. She said, I can't read lips. She got mad. And
now that's tough. All right, so, okay, if she's hearing something, she's not totally deaf.
Right.
Clearly, she can be helped.
Correct. There's a lot of different resources. We talked last time about a resource called Hear Now for people, or Hear Nashville, for people who might not be able to afford hearing aids. So that's one thing. Vanderbilt's program, student program, runs that Hear Nashville clinic, and that's been a great resource for people. They are also tied to a cochlear implant program, which Vanderbilt has, and I would encourage people to reach out to that clinic, the Bill Wilkerson Clinic, to find out more about the resources available. He also mentioned something about people not acknowledging or recognizing the trouble they're having because they hear a little bit and they think, you know, the other parts can't be solved or fixed, or maybe they're not recognizing what a challenge it is. I have decided when you're really struggling with someone like that, excuse me, the best way is to sit down and write a letter. And just kind of in handwriting, not the texting, not the things we do that get a quick response, but this is what I'm noticing, I'm worried about you. If there's social isolation issues, this is I think if our pastors and members of the clergy knew how many people stop attending religious services because they don't hear, they'd be paying more attention to it as well. So talk about the impact, the things that you see without it being you know, you're frustrating me, because the truth is people don't understand the impact their hearing loss is having on them.
That's true, and it can happen so gradually. Maybe she doesn't notice how bad it is. Having a good friend like Tony, maybe he talks to her, and maybe he also puts her in touch with Hear Nashville. I guess that would be online, or it's over at Vanderbilt, did you say?
It is Vanderbilt Bill Wilkerson Center. Can help people get in touch with that, and we will make sure we have the phone number. Last time, I think one of the staff here got that phone number for us.
We'll see if we can get Hear Nashville for the end of the show, if we can get that number up. And Tony, don't let your friend give up. See if you can help her on that. And Tony's a good friend. I'm sure he'll look into it. Let's go to Mark. Hi, Mark.
How are you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind?
Okay, I'm 68 years old. My wife is talking softer than ever. The preacher won't speak up anymore. When I'm out with friends, for some reason they just
won't speak up loud enough for me to hear the other end of the table.
Darn them.
And I've got, I don't call it ringing in my ears, but it's like, you know, it's almost like static on the radio. I've had that forever because I've always listened to music turned up to 11, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well...
What I'm wondering is, I'm sure I need a hearing aid, but aren't there a lot of places selling hearing aids that these people don't know what they're doing?
All right, let's get to that since we didn't touch on it. We touched on cochlear implants. We don't have a lot of time left.
Okay.
But what do people need to know, like him, about hearing aids?
So, first of all, there's no miracle cure for hearing loss. I want to express that very, very succinctly here because there's a lot of great technology, there's a lot of improvements. When it comes to the cost of hearing loss, you have to figure in the cost of services, and you want to make sure you're going somewhere that does a thorough evaluation, that is talking to you about what options are available. There's not one price for hearing aids, there's many prices, and you want it to have a good warranty, but you also need to make sure you're working with someone who understands your needs in everyday life. Not everyone, as wonderful as the Bluetooth technology it is, not everyone needs that or will use it. Having a chance to listen to some hearing aids to get an idea of how well they work is very important. I recommend that people stay with the big 6 companies that are out there because those folks have been out there a long time servicing the hearing aids. It's never a one-time visit or a 2-time visit. It's an ongoing care that you have to consider. And then there's also some other things you can do to make your life easier as far as communicating, paying attention to the communication strategies that we talk about. The people talking to you should get your attention first, your wife, your friends, making sure they're looking at you. Those are the things that will help the hearing aids work better. We can't just put something on and be done. It's an ongoing process. So, you know, once that commitment is made, make sure you're going somewhere where those resources are available.
Just real quick with regard to health insurance.
Yeah.
They just keep cutting it back and back and back. But will health insurance ever maybe sometimes cover any portion of a hearing aid? Maybe the exams, but not the aids? Does it, and I know it varies according to policy.
Right.
But are there some that do, that you've seen?
There are some that have coverage. There are some that refer people to what's called a third party, which may or may not be a discount program. Unfortunately, we're seeing some of those prices not being better than what they would get if they purchased directly from us or something.
Okay.
So we do want to warn people about that. There's also been, as a member of the demographic that's getting Facebook ads for over-the-counter hearing aids on a regular basis, I do want to warn people. I call those the good luck hearing aids. I actually have personal experience working in that type of setting, and it did not go well for many people. You have to consider later on, 6 months to a year later, is that device going to hold up, and who's going to be there to help you with it if it doesn't?
Right.
So I could talk for a long time about that, but that would be beyond the time we have today.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that's good advice. Real quick, let's just see if we can take Ron. Oh, let's see. I guess we lost Ron. So I guess the point then with regard to the hearing aids, some people may think I need one and just go on and go buy one themselves and plug it in and give it a try. And it may work, may not work. And,
Right.
But really, it does make sense to me that you have someone like you who can find out exactly how bad my hearing is and then set and help adjust it, right? So that's the whole idea.
Correct.
And then help me manage the hearing aid as maybe my hearing worsens as I age to adjust that aid.
Yes, and we will talk about this just briefly. There are audiologists who have the training to look at the entire medical issue, the entire hearing loss issue, the options available. You do have hearing instrument specialists. They are licensed by the state to sell hearing aids. And then you have ENT physicians who manage from a medical standpoint. Unfortunately, there is a lot of consumer confusion. I'm of course going to recommend that you see an audiologist. I know what the background and training is. I know that there's quite a bit that goes into it, and someone who's gone into 8 years of school and debt, or your parents did, then you know there's some skin in the game there, and there's a bigger approach, a bigger picture.
No, that makes sense. And if you're going to make an investment in a hearing aid, you want to make sure, I mean, it's going to cost some to go see a doctor, like any doctor, and you want that. but you're going to point someone in the right direction of the aid that's going to work for them. And if you just go and buy one, and they're not cheap, and if it's not the one that really is going to work for you, then you're kind of in a pickle. And there are some amazing ones I've seen out there with people using them, like with Bluetooth technology, or very small and all along those lines. Just listen, let's remind folks, Middle Tennessee Audiology, tell them where you are.
We are in Hendersonville. We also have an office that we go to in Portland and Bowling Green, and the phone number 615-475-7706.
And you have a website, www.middletennesseeaudiology.com. A lot of good information on there, and I think it's great. If you're not sure, check it out. You know, every time you go to your general practitioner, they always look in your ear and ask, but you're going to know if you're having trouble with hearing, and look into it. I mean, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
As always.
Appreciate it.
Next time, is she going to come on? Is she going to be a doctor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, congratulations. You're learning from the best here.
I am.
Appreciate you both coming on. I'm going to take a break. I'll come back programming. I'll give the information again for their business, as well as, if we can, we'll put on something there with Here Nashville.
Okay.
Thanks again, both of you.
Thank you.
Born on November